Okay, we're going to be looking at dividing integers. Let's think about first if they were positive, if they weren't negative. If I just had, let's say, 15 divided by 3, that would mean that I had 15 pieces total. They were split into 3 groups. And if I was going to draw a picture of that, I would say I have 15 pieces split into 3 groups. So 1, 2, 3. Here's my 3 groups. I'm going to keep distributing them until I'm done with 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pieces split into 3 groups. And then my question that I'm answering is, how many are in each? Well, in each group, there are 5. And that's why your answer is 5. Now we're going to take the same idea as we work with integers. So I just need a little extra space, so I'm going to erase this. So just like before, the number that we start with in division tells us the total number of things that we have. Now the second number can either tell us the number of groups or the number in each group. When it is positive, I say that this number is going to tell me the number of groups. The reason for that is it's difficult for me to think about what a negative group means, but it's not hard for me to think about having groups of negative numbers. So instead I'm going to say, okay, I have 20 negatives. I'm going to split them into 4 groups. So just like I did last time, I'm going to take 1 negative into 4 groups. Now I'm at 4. I have to keep doing this until I have 20. I'm at 8, 12, 16. So now I'm at 20. I have 4 groups. I have 20 negatives total, and the question then that I will be answering is how many are in each, or what value is in each. And in each group there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 negatives. The other way to check your answer is to use the knowledge that you have of fact families. Fact families are an idea that we started to learn in elementary school, and they talk about using opposite operations in the same 3 numbers. So the opposite operation of division is multiplication, so we'll be using multiplication, and the 3 numbers we have available to us to use are negative 24 and negative 5. So the total in division comes at the beginning, but when we change to multiplication, the total comes at the end. Since the total that we started with here was negative 20, we know our total in multiplication is going to be negative 20, because again we're using the same 3 numbers, opposite operation of multiplication. We also know that there were 4 groups. And we were trying to figure out how many were in each group, and we said we think that that is negative 5 in each group. Now we check to see if that works. We use our knowledge of what we already know about multiplying integers to see if our answer seems accurate. So, is a positive times a negative a negative? Yes. So we know that we were correct. If it was positive, if we thought it was positive 5, we would know that we were not correct, because a positive times a positive would not give us a negative. So multiplication is another way to check and make sure that your answer works. And we can say that we thought this was in each group. Okay, now we're going to go down and look at our next one. Here, the total that we're starting with is 30 negatives. We're going to split them, and this time it's a negative number, so I'm not going to say it's the number of groups, because again, negative groups is confusing to me. So instead I'm going to talk about this is the number in each group. Meaning the answer is going to tell me the number of groups. So if I have 30 negatives, and I'm putting 6 in each group. And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's one group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's another group, and I'm at 12 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another group of 6. Now I'm at 18 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, now I have 4 groups of 6, which is 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'm at 30. So how many groups did it take me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of -6. So my answer is 5. Now again, we always want to double check that. The total that I started with was -30. And in multiplication, because we're using fact families, an opposite operation of division is multiplication, our total goes at the end. So we know this is going to be -30. Our problem also told us that there was -6 in each group, and we were supposed to figure out how many groups there were. And we thought that that number was +5. Now to check and make sure we're right, let's say, well, let's see, this is a number of groups. When we were multiplying integers, did we believe that a positive times a negative was a negative? We say, yeah, that's what we thought, so our answer is right. It is positive, and it is 5. Now the next one, this again is our most confusing one, because here we say we have 16 total. Because it's negative, again, we're going to say that's the number in each group. And where it gets confusing is, if I start making groups of -2, am I going to get to a +16? See, I don't understand how that's going to happen. So that's when we would heavily resort on rewriting it as multiplication. So we go, okay, my total, which again in multiplication goes after the equal sign, my total is 16, which I got from here. Using my idea of fact families, I also know there's -2 in each group. And again, what I'm trying to figure out is how many groups. Well, I know that 16 divided by 2 is 8, so I know this number is going to be 8. But I have to figure out, what will the sign be? Will it be positive or will it be negative? So I know that this number is negative because it's given to me in the problem, and I know that this number is positive. So then I ask myself, what times a negative will give me a positive? And I know that a negative times a negative will give me a positive, and therefore 8 has to be negative. So I go over here and say 16 divided by -2 is -8, because in our fact family, a negative times a negative was a positive.